Hello, welcome to a new publication of results of Latin NCAP. In this case, we are starting phase 14 of the program, and we are introducing also the first publication of the year 2023. Having said that, we will start as usual with a video that we are showing the vehicles that we tested in this publication. In this case, we have the Volkswagen Taigun 6 airbags as standard, made in India, and the Jeep Renegade with 2 airbags as standard, made in Brazil. So summary of cars that we are publishing in this opportunity is the Volkswagen Taigun made in India and the Jeep Renegade made in Brazil. The results, the Volkswagen Taigun is 5 stars in safety, with only the comments that we have a marginal chest for the frontal protection of the driver and a marginal protection for the chest on the pole impact side of the driver. The car, now we are watching the slow motion, and the car shows a stable structure in the frontal test and stable footwell area as well. Restraint systems worked very well, offering a general good protection to the passengers. The car has standard I-size anchorages in the rear seat, and we have tested, in this case, the child seats, both of them rearward facing, using the the I-size connectors, and showing both of them almost full protection for the child occupants in the frontal test, which is really good. And as we recommend, they keep the child occupants rearward facing as long as possible. We are now watching the top view of the frontal crash test, and we are moving into the side impact scenario right now with the full speed video and now the slow motion, where the standard side airbags are deploying perfectly well to offer a full protection on the side and also a structure that prevents intrusion into the compartment area, into the passengers area, and this is very good. And the side protection for the child occupants is almost full protection. That shows, once again, commitment of the manufacturer into offering state-of-the-art safety, at least in passive safety worldwide. Now we're coming to the pole impact scenario. In the pole impact scenario, it's the most stringent test, and the side head airbags, or the coating airbags on the side, are offering good protection to the head, and the side body airbags marginal protection to the chest or the rest of the car. And the performance are looking really good, and the results are reflecting that. And at the same time, this is helping the car to reach the 5-star level. The Taigun was also tested for pedestrian protection, as we are watching now in the video, and pedestrian protection in general showed adequate to good protection. Some areas are marginal, and some critical areas which are hard or challenged to develop are showing more poor protection. But in general, the vehicle reached the minimum passive safety for pedestrians for the 5 stars. We are watching now the whiplash test, and the whiplash test showed that the car offers good protection to the neck in the rear impact. We're watching now the ESC test. The car has ESC as standard. We're watching now the robot from the inside of the car. The car performs very well in the ESC without any trouble, and also the MOOS test performed over the 70 kilometers an hour. We're watching now the AAB. Testing AAB is not a standard feature, but it reaches the minimum volume needed by Latin NCAP to score. It was tested with static vehicle and moving vehicle as well, as you're watching, and the AAB pedestrian is not yet in the volume that needed. We hope that we can actually increase the volume, and soon that we can test also the AAB for pedestrians, and probably the car will, of course, confirm the 5 stars with a better performance on the pedestrian protection. We are now moving into the Jeep Renegade. The Jeep Renegade was rated with a 1-star result. The car has standard 2 airbags only and ESC. The head impact in the side, the head marginal protection, it's part of the symptoms that you see when there's no side impact protection as standard. We're watching now the slow motion frontal test. The car offered stable structure in the front, and also a stable footwell area in the front impact as well. The restraint systems worked well for the adults and offered them good protection. The car has standard ISOFIX connectors, and both child seats were installed rearward facing, the 3-year-old and the 1.5-year-old, following the worldwide recommendations of the experts to keep them rearward facing as long as possible. The problem was that the 1.5-year-old showed contact of the head with the interior of the car, with the backrest of the front seat, and that actually made the car lose points on the child occupant protection. Top view of the frontal. Now we're going to the side impact. On the side impact, we see that the car has a good structure that prevents major intrusion. Still, if you compare to the other vehicle, is a little bit more intrusion than in the Taigun. And in this car, the lack of side protection airbags, the side body and side head airbags, are actually offering a margin of protection to the head, and clearly not a good protection so far to the rest of the adults. But the child occupants received a full protection on the side impact, which is also good and also in line with this kind of child restraint systems and the position being used on the car. The car was tested also for pedestrian protection, and in the upper area, in the area closer to the windscreen, there was a lot of pool protection, and also in the bumper side, there was also a pool protection offered by this vehicle. The whiplash test on the car showed good protection to the neck of the adult without further issues or challenges, and the ESC of the car performed well, which is a standard feature in the car. Now we're watching the ESC test from the inside of the car with the robot, and also the MOOS test of the car in both scenarios performed above the 70 kilometers an hour proposed by Latin NCAP. We're watching now the MOOS test from top view, from drone view, and the summary of results in this publication. The Jeep Renegade, 1 star, and in this case we have the story behind is a little bit concerning for Latin NCAP, because this car has been tested in 2015 with the same standard features that the car shows today as a standard, with only 2 airbags. And at that time, the car was a 5 stars with a previous logo and previous protocols assessment. The car manufacturers cannot use for more than 4 years any of the results until either they renew it or they have to stop using it with marketing purposes. Unfortunately, Jeep kept using the 5 stars from 2015. We believe that in a very unfortunate decision, probably to confuse consumers. Even when the car was not improved, the car was still the car with the 2 airbags as standard. In the past, they were still using the 5 stars. An unfortunate decision was to edit, or let's say adjust, the visual of that result. And instead of using the result from the year 2015, they were using a, let's say, edited version not approved by Latin NCAP, in an intention, in our view, to mislead consumers, unfortunately. Still, when the car was offering a very old equipment, the intention of testing this car is showing that clearly that information was not correct. In fact, it was completely in the other direction. It was not even close to a 5 star. It's a 1 star poor performing vehicle. We encourage Jeep to stop this kind of behaviors and this kind of strategies. And at the same time, we strongly encourage Jeep Renegade to improve the safety standard, safety for this vehicle, match competitors like, for example, the Volkswagen Taigun and other vehicles that we have tested in the past. On the opposite side of the story, we have the Volkswagen Taigun showing a 5 star result, a very comfortable 5 star performance. The only comment we have is the marginal protection to the chest and the side pole impact protection, and clearly that we would like to see this car performing better, matching all the other boxes in pedestrian safety. Clearly, it meets the minimum 5 star requirements, but the low score in the pedestrian protection, it's explained because the car does not offer the AAB for vulnerable road users, doesn't offer AAB for pedestrians, as in the volume required to be scored by Latin NCAP. So it's just about increasing the volume that is needed, make it more available in the region, and testing it by Latin NCAP in order to confirm a good performance. And likely that box will increase its value, probably closer to the other boxes as well. Having said that, this is the final stage of this new publication of results. We're going to have way more results in the next coming weeks. And we would like to thank you all very much for the support. And before we say goodbye, we want to thank very much Bloomberg Philanthropies, FI Foundation, Global NCAP, Towards Zero Foundation as well for their support, ICRT and the IDB for their, let's say, permanent connection and cooperation. And we hope to see you all in the next publication in just a few weeks away. Thank you very much.